it's Laura from Doggy U, and I'm coming at you from my new little house training center out here in Colorado, aka my basement, and also, consequently, my new filming studio. So today we're going to talk about the Maroon Bells, a camping trip we went on this weekend, how to get there, the hikes we did with the dogs, and how much fun we had, and considerations like the buses and driving your car and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. So it's the beginning of leaf peeping season here in Colorado, and coming from New England, it's not exactly the same New England experience, but there's a lot of beautifully colored trees out here starting to turn right now. So we decided to plan a trip up to the Maroon Bells, which is in Snowmass, Colorado area up near Aspen. So we left on Friday and had a little bit of a debacle. So you guys know I have a camper van, so that's where we sleep, and usually we just drive until we get tired and then we sleep in a parking lot. We're no strangers to doing that, but as we were going down one of the hills, we realized as it got darker out that my headlights were out. And I know this is a common problem with the Ram ProMaster because I've seen it on a ton of forums. My car only has 30,000 miles on it or so, and both of the headlights went out. So we ended up only in, I believe we were in Silverthorne. We got to Silverthorne at like 8-ish at night. Luckily, there was an auto parts store open, so we were able to get new headlights, and we couldn't install them because we needed power tools for that. So there's like a hustler in the parking lot who, very weird situation that I've never seen before, but basically goes around and helps you install stuff. So we paid that guy to help us. Took about 30, 45 minutes, and we were thankfully back on the road, a little later than we thought we would be. We ended up sleeping just in a park and ride area on our way up to Aspen. Went to bed at 11, got up at 4:20, got ready to go, started driving all the way up to the Maroon Bells thinking, man, if we got there early enough, we'd be able to drive all the way up to them and park right near the views. That didn't happen. Me and 200 of our closest friends also thought that if they got there before 6 a.m. they'd be able to drive up, and that just wasn't the case. So when you go during prime season to see the Maroon Bells, first tip is know that you're going to be riding a bus. So we were able to drive up to the Highlands, I think it's called the Highlands, parking area, and at about 6 a.m. we started getting in line with at least 200 people, maybe even more, to get tickets to get on the bus that would start rolling at 7 a.m. to get to the Maroon Bells. You should also know that dogs are allowed on the bus, but that first bus we went on, it was actually the second bus that rolled out, was so full. So I was standing, and so was my husband, with Whip and Jake with us. It was crowded. There was probably, I don't know, at least 10 other dogs on the bus with us. So it was totally packed and uncomfortable, and it's about a 20-minute bumpy ride. We did not have the best bus driver, so it was a lot of rocking around. So if your dog isn't prepared to be on a bus, you might want to go in the off season, so not leaf peeping season, so that you can drive all the way up to the location and park your car there, because there's not that many spots up there. Another tip I recommend is getting there early. When we first got there, we were the second load of the bus, and we kind of hung back a little bit, let everybody go through, and then went down to the water, and there were not that many people there, so we got some beautiful photographs of the area without a lot of people there. As we came back from our hike about 3 hours later in the day, there were a ton of people. It was hard to get good pictures. You certainly weren't getting pictures without people in them. So I highly recommend getting there as early as possible to go and see the views. Now, in our typical fashion, we didn't have a lot planned, so we got there and saw what our options were for hiking. This scenic loop trail, which we had wanted to go on, actually said no dogs, so we couldn't do that one. That was like an easy 1.5 mile loop around the lake. That wasn't gonna happen because no dogs were allowed. So we also saw a route that was about 3.2 miles, and that was supposed to be like a nice path by the river that led to a bus area that would pick you up. Well, that seemed great, but it wasn't around the mountains, so we weren't super pumped about that. So we ended up going on the Crater Lake Trail. The Crater Lake Trail is about a 3.8 mile trail out and back up to this beautiful lake with this awesome meadows that we went on. And I think it was a moderate to challenging difficulty level. There's some parts that are super like flat and nice open trail, and then there's a lot of like scrambly shale rock, unstable rock type areas. But it's a lovely trail to a beautiful lake, and there's less people because it is a little bit of a more challenging trail. So I highly recommend that trail for you and your dogs, and it's dog friendly. And what was lovely about visiting the Maroon Bells is everyone was really respectful of the leash laws. So now you guys know that Jake is a little bit dog selective. So, you know, we have to be careful around him, and he doesn't like dogs running up and jumping on his head, which I don't blame him. So we're always concerned, especially in Colorado where a lot more dogs are off leash and supposed to be under voice control but aren't. We're always concerned about dogs jumping on his head or, you know, him getting into a little scuffle with another dog. But everyone was really respectful of the rules surrounding leashes. When we did come back on the trail over at Crater Lake, there was a lot of dogs off leash playing in the water, which, you know, not supposed to be happening, but was happening. But fortunately, that was far enough away that we could just kind of take a route around, and we didn't have any encounters that were a problem. So if you have a more a dog selective dog, this trail worked out really well for that. I wouldn't say it would be good for a dog reactive dog because there are some points in the trail where it is a one lane kind of thing. So you have to wait for people to go, and then you can go, and you're gonna be in tight quarters with people if you're at peak season times. But it was just the most beautiful trail. There was this meadow that we could walk around in and get some good photos. And we were out and back, let's see, we left on the bus around 7. We were finished up with our hike around 11. So it didn't take too long, maybe 2.5 hours or so. And we were slow and taking pictures and kind of just really enjoying ourselves and the dogs. And the dogs just had a blast. So I highly recommend that trail when you're going out there. Now, you can also do those big hikes, the 3-day loops, and go out and do, you know, climb the Maroon Bells. I'm not at that fitness level here in Colorado yet, but we're working on it because next year we'd like to do some 14ers. So there's so many options up there. Then we went back to the ski resort and we were able to have lunch at this lovely little Mexican place. Dogs were allowed there as well. Tons of dogs everywhere at this. Some of those dogs in that ski area were off leash. So just so you know, if you do have a dog that struggles with that, might not be the best time of year to go because you're just gonna encounter a ton of dogs. But as far as the trip goes, highly recommend going up and seeing the Maroon Bells. It's a trip that's been on my bucket list for quite a while. We went up in March last year. Didn't check to see if it was open, and it was totally closed due to snow. Like we'd have to have taken a snowmobile in or hiked through a lot of snow just to get to the views of the bells. So another tip is just make sure that you're in season when you're going to visit. Make sure it's open. There is a number that you can call and they'll tell you information about parking because parking does overflow. So overall, awesome trip. Highly recommend for your dogs. Make sure that they're good around other dogs. Make sure that they can handle the bus situation because you will need it out and back in the busy season. But overall, just enjoy. It's one of the most spectacular places that I've been to in Colorado. So if you're out this way, somewhere between like June, July, and now October area, come on out here, visit with your dogs, and have a blast with this breathtaking scenery. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you hit that little bell button, it'll let you know anytime we come out with a new video, which is at least once a week. Woo! So, if you have any questions, make sure you comment below. I answer most of the comments, and if it's a really good comment or you have a question that needs more of an answer, I might even do a video about it. All right guys, you have a great day, happy training, and safe travels.